knowledge, skills, and dispositions do the Pakistan school and system leaders need to lead in challenging times? So going back to inputs that I shared with you for the Australian model, much of that would have to go in there: policy levers, resources, trained faculty, coaches. And then there would have been some discussion about what are the activities that every leader will have to be able to know and be able to do. And that probably in the program would include conflict resolution activities, how to learn and manage conflict in the workplace, and how to delegate and manage up and down within a school. So although we started, in my initial conversations about what some of you might want to learn about, it's helpful to have a context of the person we're trying to build and grow in this, so that the design of the professional learning is accurate. And then we think about the outputs, the outcomes, and the impact. So if we were to do conflict resolution activities and delegation activities, it might just suit the needs of some of you in the room. Some of you will have expertise in this area. Some of you are coaching others in this area. Some of you are learning about this area. So to actually know what the portraits of each of you are, we can be much more responsive to your professional learning needs. And that's what this is about. So when we go to how are we going to start this, I asked Tina if we might, there's been some global thinking about what this portrait might look like, and what is that education narrative, that true north. Where are we? Where do we need to go to, so that we can build these ecosystems with people and students at the center? So what might this look like in the design for Pakistan transformational leader? Now, PPDCI, this may be the design that they may be working on, so that you can see where some professional learning fits in that design, under which capability or which competency. For the last 3 years, I've been participating in the WISE, or the World Innovation Summit for Education Leadership Capabilities Design, because the thinking had begun to discuss, and this emerged in the second year of COVID, what will we need to be able to do to have future-ready leaders as a result of what we've learned in terms of COVID, and what teachers and school leaders now need to know and be able to do. And so we started to build this causal narrative. Education transformation in our schools and in our education systems requires essential system conditions that are underpinned by future-ready leadership capabilities, which focus on collaborative leadership in strong and robust learning ecosystems, is what we usually talk about. So the initial work started around these future-ready leadership capabilities. I was responsible with the CEO of the Ontario Principals Council, Nadine, for the first two capabilities you can see here, and a team, and Nadine led the other two, and I supported her. But we had a team from Morocco, excuse me, Lebanon, South Africa, UAE, Mexico, as a diverse group as you could think of. And over a year, we wrote the 4 capabilities that are included in the paper that many of you would have been forwarded as pre-reading for this session. So this was about ensuring that every educational leader had the capabilities to envisage a flourishing future for not only their school, but the community in which they served, that they could manage dynamic complexity, something new happening that's worsening things for different people, another flood in Pakistan, an earthquake, whatever that might be, whatever the complexity that is serving us, that is addressed. But doing this in terms of building the agency in self and others, so that goes to that second professional learning that I was asked about around the distributive leadership. And capability 4 looked at how to ensure equity at every point in this journey. And so you've got some research embedded in that also in the slide. When we talked about this as a global group designing this framework, we thought, okay, we can do a unified global leadership framework, but do we also need to think about the building blocks, that logic diagram I just shared with you, and to think about the people in the room, purpose, audience, and function, and how we'll be able to show when somebody's improving. So as we did that, we looked as much literature as we could on leadership capabilities. And we shifted from a competency mindset and performance checklist. That was really hard work for us, and it was important to do because we found in our North American countries, so the US and Canada, for example, and in some of our European countries and South Africa, that there was a competency model. I'm going to learn this, and this, and then I can be a principal. Instead of enabling the competencies to describe the foundations of the growth of a leader, and it's through their professional learning and ongoing work in their schools that they become more capable in the areas that they're working on. And that's infinite. It's through the roof. There's no ceiling. So that's why there was a lot of work done around capabilities. What would we want every single leader to have in terms of capability? So we looked at what that might be in terms of a framework, and we're currently doing some authoritative research around the ones that you've been shared with. The other thing that emerged at that time was, and you'll know about the agrarian age, the industry age, and all that came with the shifts or waves of the development of human growth and development. So many of our countries still work within an industry 4.0 mindset, and which there is nothing wrong with that, because there was some strong response in the industry 4.0 mindset to make sure that there were effective practices and they were working for the betterment of human beings globally. What happened as a result of COVID and some research that was happening at that time was that mechanical responsive technology age that was industry 4.0 took a lot of people's jobs away instead of improving their life opportunities. So there is we looked at all the research around Society 5.0 that continues to advance bringing people back into the workplace. Those that lost their jobs because of machines taking over their work, not coming back to the workplace because they can do that because of COVID now, and looked at ways of creating new ways of working and learning and unlearning. An example would be Qatar, for example, during not only COVID, but when Qatar was in the middle of a blockade from many of the UAE other areas, regions. It learnt they ran out of important foods like dairy products, peas, a number of important staple foods for their diet. And so they learnt how to make dairies out in the middle of the deserts. So their milk supply now comes from in the country. Every family learned how to grow vegetables and fruit and things in their own backyards. So it was about learning and learning and relearning and solving new problems agilely with different thinking. And that was society-centered, people-centered. And so we wanted to take that into account as we were writing this capability framework. We knew that there was a new visioning of what schools could be. We knew it was about sense making and understanding what young people need to learn to now for their work life ahead. We knew that we needed to really develop new ways to reach this vision. And this was before the AI conversation was emerging. This was 2 years ago as a narrative that's taken over in media, and it needed to be relational. So why capabilities? The research has been around for a while, but it's this flexible mindset. And there's so much written in this work that means we actually continue to ask questions, grow. In terms, it's not so much compliance, but demonstrating what we know, understand, but what also we can do now and what we're trying to do in the future. So different sorts of practices, procedures that do include competencies, but have very clear potential development. So we wanted to build a framework in which there was the development of potential, whether it was a teacher leader, a school leader, or a system leader, that really demonstrated that intelligent, ethical practice and self-efficacy continued to be centered in excellence, creativity, wisdom, open-mindedness, flexible, ability to face the unfamiliar, and an agile mindset. And so you would have been given some work, some writing already around the 4 capabilities that are available. The work is posited in Society 5.0. And in each of these capabilities, we looked at these things. So very quick, sharp description for you. It's about an A4 page description of what envisaging a flourishing future is and how a leader in a school or in a system would be able to do that. But we've also put together a mindset shift to actually start to think about that. So moving from to, and what would the behavioural outcomes look like? If I'm a leader and other people can say, I've got strength in envisaging and flourishing futures. Managing dynamic complexity, what would that look like? Where would the shift need to be in my work? Would I put my part of the system first, or would I partner across boundaries to meet student expectations? So would I continue to work in the school, in my classroom, or would I go beyond to make sure I'm doing the right things by the right students for the right reasons? And then what does that look like in terms of behavioural outcomes? In terms of developing agency in myself and of those around me, again, there's a strong literature review and some examples there. And then again, what would that look like in terms of my mindset and a practice shift? And how would I be able to be confirmed I'm working in these particular areas through those behavioural outcomes? And last one, because we want you to be doing some talking, fostering equity is that last capability. And what does that look like in terms of our schools? Very clear picture of the future, co-create shared ownership. In my studies, particularly in North America, the centering of equity at the center of everything a leader does is imperative, and a huge discussion. So we're going to give you some time in a moment to think about what would it look like? What would the paragraph look like? What would be the attributes of a Pakistan leader to lead flourishing schools? What would they need to know and be able to do and understand? So what would be the knowledge, skills, and dispositions? What would be the inputs? What would be some of those things we talked about in terms of the principled example? Yes, some of the activities might include conflict resolution and delegation. But what would be some of the program of work look like? And then how would we know it was working? So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about that in breakout rooms in a moment. But just to center back in some important work also that Pakistan, of course, has signed up to, and that's the SDG. And in particular, we're talking about SDG 4. And we are looking at what that looks like in terms of development of leaders being able to lead this work. And in fact, we continue to have discussions with those who designed this particular SDG that leadership should be strong and loud in this one as well. So if we are going to look at what a Pakistan leader needs to know and be able to do and understand, these are some of the things we know have impacted schools in Pakistan. Some of this was already there. Many children out of school, closures of schools, many students not being able to access the learning, many students not being able to transition from school into work. And so there's that complexity to deal with. There is also needing a very clear understanding of what students needed to know and be able to do across Pakistan so that the teachers through the professional standards are able to respond to that. But here tonight, we're going to talk about how would a Pakistan leader ensure this was able to happen. So what is the knowledge and skills and understandings that Pakistan leader might need? And that might start to be the painting of a portrait that we're going to continue to discuss. So in a moment, we're going to go into breakthrough rooms. And we're challenging you to think differently. Think about things that would be relevant and helpful, short and long term, that would be collaborative, everybody working on them, and are future focused. And we have 3 questions, and you may not get to all of them. And we can use those as questions to be online post this session. So in your breakout room, around the areas that have been shared today that are important for Pakistan education leaders and need further discussion. So what are they? What are the areas that need further discussion? And that can be as specific or as broad as you like. Just brainstorm. What are the areas shared today that we need to start to think about in terms of growing high impact, effective quality Pakistan educational leaders? What would need to be in that portrait description? Would love to know something that you thought you'd like more clarity on when we come back into the main room, and that will lead to our questions and thoughts and feedback session. And for you to nominate, if you've got time, areas that will need further exploration in follow-up PPDCI sessions. But what's worked out of this for you tonight? What collaboratively could we build together? What do we still need to know? And what would be some of the content? Look forward to seeing you in about 15 minutes.
All right, so breakout rooms are open and we have 7 breakout rooms. You can see a pop-up on your screen. Click that pop-up, join the breakout room. You have 3 questions on the screen. We would like you to answer those questions when you come back to the main room. For safe side, if you feel like clicking a picture, please go ahead so that you may keep the set of talk with you what areas you have to cover in the breakout room. And I would appreciate if everyone can go share the learning, discuss the things, because when you speak out what you have learned, that brings in more value and it solidified your learning actually. So see you in the breakout rooms. Me and Madam Jenny and rest of the members of PPDCI will keep visiting the breakout rooms. And how much time we have given to them, ma'am?
Can we go until about 15 past the hour?
All right. So
Is that,
it's
yeah, or 15 or 20, whichever you think is helpful.
all right. So
Mhm.
10 to 15 minutes are allocated for this activity. Please discuss these questions, come back to main room with your properly defined answers, and then we'll assign the groups to present that. Thank you very much. See you in the breakout rooms. Everyone, please join the breakout rooms. You can see a pop-up on the screen. Please click the button, go in the breakout room. I can see many people have joined, and those who have not joined, I'm requesting them once again. Abdul Aziz, Bilal Khan, Misbah Hassan, Otelia, can you please join breakout room number 1? And Louis and Zaumi, can you please join breakout room number 2? Afshin, room number 3, Yazdan, room number 3. And room number 4, Bilal Khan, Infinix, Rahmatullah, Sita, Sayyida Ufaq. I would request you to please go and join breakout room number 4. And room number 5, this is Dr. Mansoor Ladi, Farhad Sheikh, and Kiran Khan. Please move on to the assigned breakout rooms. Ms. Afshin, can you please go ahead? Ms. Ufaq as well. Please unmute yourself and let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help in case if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But I would insist upon that you go ahead and join the breakout rooms. Oh, wow. I can see people moving from here. Great. Riza Sabiri, Louis, and Xiaomi, room number 2 is waiting for you. If you can go and join in there. Afshin Adnan, Infinix, Rahmatullah, Sita, Sayyida Ufaq, Dr. Mansoor. Okay, so I'm also going to visit the breakout rooms. In case if you can join in, I would appreciate. If not, then let's wait. All right, everyone. Those who are still here, I would like to ask them if you have any difficulty in joining the breakout room. All right, so participants have started coming back. Let everybody come back and then we'll proceed further.
Hi, Hina.
All right, so coming back, and I'm sure in a while everybody will be back in the room.
Mhm. We had the opportunity talking with Bilal just then.
All right, ma'am. So how would you like to consolidate this?
I'm happy to take questions from each group if that's helpful. And if the same question's been asked, we don't need to re-ask it. So, I mean, Bilal and I've just had a great conversation, so I'm sure we can share that in time. But yeah, so let's see what other people wanted to know and work on.
All right, okay. So we are open to your feedback. Please unmute yourself, tell us your group number, and carry on with the discussion in case if you have questions or if you have come up with something which you would like to share with us in the main room. I think the breakout room discussions were certain, and that is why people are not discussing anything at this moment.
So, shall we share what Bilal and I were talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I
Bilal?
share?
Yes, please.
Yes. Well, good day, everybody. And what I feel like I'm the luckiest one who has got the chance to talk with Miss Jenny, and it has been a wonderful discussion. And what all in short, I would like to discuss that what I was discussing with her about the policies and the norms and rules regulations of Pakistan educational system. And being a part of one of the education system, what I was discussing that we don't have much and strong rules, regulations, and policies, certain criteria, which becomes the hurdle to lead the situations, to lead the organizations, and to go further with our own thinking and perceptions. So these were my concerns and the questions. And another thing what I kept like that in Pakistan, in our country, we being leader and principals have to see at the same time a lot of things. So it becomes very difficult to remain on an actual task and what we specifically have to go for. So what Ma'am Jani has suggested to me and advised it was too good that being in a strong, being a leader or a principal, if we have a strong association with our colleagues, with the rest of the people who are connected with the same profession, then only we better can raise our voice. We can bring some remarkable change, and we can change people's thinking and perception. So the first thing is that to change the thinking and to bring the new and modern perceptions, then we can add up something into the way which we are looking for. So this was, Ma'am Hina, what we had the discussion.
Thank
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 you.
you very much, Bilal.
Mm.
I would like to add one thing. Exactly, we are living in an era where things are changing quicker than we think. In case if we
Exactly.
don't update ourselves, we'll be left behind somewhere. So
Mhm.
updating ourselves, knowing what is happening in the world, learning from the maestros like Miss Jenny is something which is very, very important for our personal growth. And if we as leaders are groomed, only then we can deliver back to the world. So very important take, Bilal. Thank you very much.
Oh, sure.
Over to you, ma'am, once again.
Okay, so others may want to come in at some time, but we were just finishing off one part of the discussion with Bilal, and I think it'd be good and helpful for a number of your representatives to think about is that so when the Australian government developed the professional standards for principals and the teacher standards, that came about because the profession said they would do it. So in Australia, the profession, which was principals associations, the association I was running at that time, the Australian Council for Education Leaders, which is very much like PPDC, universities, deans of universities, and the unions said, this is too chaotic for us in the schools. We've got different rules in different places for different things. We've got role statements for this, but we've got the supervisors and the inspectors coming in and checking on something else. And so let's get a national narrative around what does an Australian teacher look like, so as you have done for Pakistan, and then the same for the school principals. But the profession took responsibility for that, and the government came along and agreed to help work on it. So this has also happened in Canada. It's happened in the US. It's happened in a number of European countries. It happened in the United Kingdom as well. The profession stood up and said, look, we'll make our role highly responsible, but it will be aligned and we'll work on it. And actually, we'll raise the standard of what we should need to know and be able to do to be high impact teachers and high impact principals. So here in Australia and in the US, the profession wrote the portraits and made sure the professional learning was designed to go with that portrait, and the accountability structures were designed at the same time. So it became a professional learning exercise for leaders. They know what they needed to know and be able to do. For one of a bit of example, the principals associations fed into, well, this is what principals really have to do in their schools these days. So our portrait, our standards, our capabilities need to illustrate that this is the real job of a principal, and we need help to be able to do it well. So, but we'll describe that as a portrait. We'll tell you what we need in terms of inputs, in terms of programs and resources and professional learning. And we agreed to have this accountability to make sure we're doing it, because we need to know when we're not working on this well and how to improve. So the profession ran that. And what Bilal and I was just talking about is that I found example after example where the universities, the schools of education in the universities, professional associations like your own, and the principal and teacher associations, and sometimes the union, came together and took responsibility for doing that, writing the portrait, writing the standards, and put it on together and went back to government, see, this is what we're prepared to do if you will help fund and put this in place for us. So it seems that from the point of view of Pakistan, with all the new things you're trying and doing, you're at that wonderful point of the profession now taking the conversation forward to paint that portrait as positively as you want. Yeah. Any other questions or? And then, you've got you and your organisation, along with your very active members, have a lovely design framework to work from to provide the professional learning to help against each standard capability, whatever it is you might want to do.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. And this is something which is very much needed. We try to put in our contribution in making this world a better place, and nothing can be better than making people their own better version. So
Yes.
me, my team, and PPDCI connect and collaborate with people like you from around the globe, and we learn the best practices from each other. So this is something which is benefiting us in one way or the other way. Pakistan has a long way to go, inshallah, in collaboration with the people from the world. So people, if you have any questions, please drop in the chat room. We are here to answer those questions. If you have any feedback, any questions, please feel free to drop in the chat room. And Ms. Jenny, I'm sure your preparation for Christmas are going very well.
Yes, it is. I meant to say it right at the very beginning. Today in Australia, or in my area, it's the hottest city in the world today. So it's 44 degrees.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was looking how hot it gets in Pakistan just before I came on, and I saw that you have these winds called Lu, is it? L-double.
it is. It is.
We
Like
have,
Pakistan has early winters.
yeah. So the hot winds with the 44 degrees has been running, and this is the build up to Christmas, so it becomes hot for us, and so we've had an early warning of what it might be like for bushfires and things like that. But yes, we're all getting ready. And I hope
Perfect.
it is for
Perfect.
all of you as well.
Thank you very much. So wish you good luck for the preparations. I would like PPDCI team to please post the link for attendance and feedback so that people may mark attendance and claim their certificate. All right, few important announcements. Madam, are we done with Ma'am Jani?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So people, we have the link of the survey here in the chat room. Please click on it, go and mark your attendance, give your feedback to us. Please post the questions if you have any. And if no questions, then ultimately we'll move on further. Take 2 minutes. Please open the link for attendance. And Ma'am Jenny, I would like to extend my deepest of appreciation and gratitude for you being available for PPDCI, which is Personal and Professional Development Center for the people of Pakistan. And then many people connect with us from different parts of the globe. And the best thing is PPDCI offers all these services absolutely free of cost for making it approachable for every sphere of the society.
That's
And I
right.
really am humbled and honored that you joined us. This talk was very insightful. Listening to you and going through the ideas, I was planning to go through the recording as well. So we'll share the recorded version with the people here, and I'll share that with you as well. Thank you very much for joining us.
My absolute pleasure. And again, apologies for not having a voice a couple of weeks ago. So
We can understand. Finally, we made it, alhamdulillah.
yes. All right. Well, all the best for Christmas season, and I hope school continues to thrive for all of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. God bless you. All right, what an insightful talk. And Mehreen says, I would like to appreciate you and your team to give this platform to us for enhancing our learnings and information. Thank you very much, Mehreen, for your feedback. I am still online for 2 more minutes so that people may open the link of attendance. Browse it through Google Chrome and you will be able to land in the destination and mark your attendance and give us your feedback, and then we are good to go. I'll be closing the session. If you have marked the attendance, you can leave the virtual room and you can move on further. So an insightful talk, people, the weekend, and we have made it very productive for all of us in the morning. Thank you very much for joining us. So Ma'am Jenny, thank you very much. God bless you. See us each other very soon, inshallah. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.